addressed to Miss Jennie, who was the namesake for our Jennie. And Miss Jennie was a missionary and a part of a prominent family where Jennie grew up, and Miss Jennie was instrumental in helping her dad financially, I think, in the seminary. And he wrote this letter. I'm just going to read excerpts from it. And it begins, Dear Miss Jennie, have you heard our good news? Yes, we have another girl. She was born at 6:15 a.m. today. She weighed 7 pounds, and we're so happy that both Nancy, Jennie's mom, and the baby are getting along just fine. We have a nice hospital here, so Mary didn't have to go to Greenville. I really have only written this letter only once, so I want to skip around a little bit. The Lord has really been good to me. He gave us a fine Christian girl He gave me a fine Christian girl for my wife, and now He's given me 2 fine girls. We are indeed grateful to Him. Miss Jennie, during the years you've meant so much to me and to my life. Your devoted Christian life has been a challenge to me to give my life to the Lord and to try to serve Him even as you have through the years. And he goes on to mention her health financially in the seminary, and he talks further about, therefore, because of what you have done for me and meant to me and my family, Nancy and I take great pride in naming our new baby after you. She will go by the name of Jennie. Her full name is Jennie Ruth Batson. Our prayer is that she will grow up to be a fine Christian woman, as you are, and to serve our Lord in any way that He should lead. Signed, J. Ray Batson. I don't know whether any of you ever met Jennie's father.
Oh, yes.
But you would remember it if you had. I remember the first time I met him. It was at a restaurant, Austin, so people in Louisville know what restaurant that is. And I had barely walked through the door. And 50 feet away was her father, who said, "Hi, Bob. I am so happy to meet you." And he was that far away. It wouldn't have mattered whether it was you or me or anyone. It was open arms and unconditional. Now, too bad that Roseanne and Donna didn't get some of those famous fine traits that he had. Now, I just gotta say, these are, and Roseanne and Donna, they know how to say things that they're not gonna like, because I've asked them if it's okay, and they said, fine with me that you do, with them that you do that. So these are stories that are true stories. When Jennie and I first started, this goes back to my parents' days when they used the term, when Jennie and I first started keeping company, Donna came to me and said, if you are not good to my sister, I will hunt you down and kill you. And 2 weeks after that, Ricky, Donna's husband, came to Louisville on a trip, and we picked him up. Jenny and I picked him up at the hotel. Jenny said, I think it's a good time for you to meet Ricky. And I said, fine, good idea. And so Jenny picked him up, and I was in the back seat, and they didn't say a word to me from the hotel to the restaurant. And so I thought, well, finally, when we get there, I'll be able to carry on a conversation with Ricky. And when we got into the restaurant, the first thing he did was look at me and he said, we Southern men take care of our women. And you know, the first thing I thought about was, well, I live pretty close to Mason-Dixon. I wonder if that's okay, if this would help any at all. And so we passed that, and later I said, you know, I've heard the term power couple. And is that what meant by these two folks? And I can't let Jean and Roseanne off the hook. I don't know if you've met them or not, but they have a beautiful home, and I think I'm right, in the Blue Ridge Mountains in northern Georgia. And on one of my early trips down there, I was relaxing on the deck, which juts out into a valley that you can look over forever. And while I was relaxing, Roseanne yells at me and says, Bob, come over here near the edge of this deck, and you can see things a lot better. And I thought, well, is this power couple? Well, since that time, I've been haunted by these two power couples, and realizing that I need to be good and fair to Jenny. And so really, I'm confessing something tonight, and I have a trophy here that don't get excited, it's true. This was presented to me by my tennis group, okay? I thought finally they see talent here. And what happens with my tennis group is that every Saturday after we play, there are about 12 or 14 of us who wind up having lunch. And we talk about religion, we talk about politics, we talk about movies. And if you know Jenny and my habits, we see a lot of movies. And the tennis group, they know that.
Let's just keep passing.
What they don't know is that Jenny and I talk about these movies, and everybody knows how smart she is. So she picks up on a lot of these subtleties that the movie, and she'll say, did you pick up on that? No. I didn't get that. But what I do is that I pass them on to the tennis group as if they are my idea. But they didn't know that, so I'm confessing to that. And you know, you think this is a tennis trophy. It's not. The trophy is inscribed Best Movie Review. So I give her credit for letting me. I'm going to keep it at my own. But there is one movie that I need no help in reviewing. And I'm sure you're familiar with it. You've probably seen the movie Bucket List. It's about two guys who have a list of things that they want to do before they die. And I've seen it so many times. The scene that I remember most, Morgan Freeman and Jack Nicholson are sitting close to the pyramid, and Morgan Freeman looks at Jack Nicholson and says, you know, I think the ancient Egyptians got the thing right about how you get into heaven. And what they say that happens to our souls is when they approach the gates, guards ask them two questions. They say, the answer to these two questions determine whether or not you get into heaven. And Jack Nicholson says, okay, I'll buy it. What are those questions? And Morgan Freeman says, the first question is, have you found joy in your life? Jack Nicholson says, I think I have found joy. And And then Morgan Freeman says, the second question is, has your life brought joy to others? And that's a more challenging question, and Jack Nicholson didn't know how to handle it, and frankly, I don't, and probably you would have problems with that, but we all know someone who has brought joy to the lives of others, and that would be you. Throughout the remarks tonight, I've borrowed every step of the way. The first thing that I mentioned was you have choices. Well, that's from the airlines. You know, airlines, they say, we know you have choices. And the second borrowing was from the letter that his father wrote. And the third borrowing was from the movie Bucket List. And my final thought was borrowed also. It was borrowed from my mentor of many years. His name was William W. Slider, who was a senior minister at Christ Church United Methodist. And I remember one time when he described a person, and I thought to myself, if I ever get the opportunity to use that expression on someone who I think is worthy of that description, I will use it. And I found that person. And the description is, if you really want to know where Jennie Weeks stands on any subject, just draw a circle near the cross, and somewhere within that circle, you will find her. We love you.